What's going on, everybody? My name is LILWOOLEY618, and today I want to talk about what it's like to be a moderate in these really polarizing political times. Now, my experience is going to be more based on the United States, seeing how I live in the United States and have lived in the United States my entire life. But I'm pretty sure you can take it and apply it to your own country if you live in Canada or Europe or pretty much anywhere in the world. If you're a moderate, you might be able to relate to some of the issues that I'm going to talk about, and maybe even my own background and stuff. And right before we get completely into it, I'm just going to apologize, and I'm going to try to keep this commentary short and concise, but it's going to be a long one because I do have a lot to talk about, and I'm going to kind of explain my background on the political spectrum and things like that. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy the conversation, and get involved in the comments, and leave a like and subscribe. You guys know the whole deal. But anyway, let's talk about my journey into being a moderate. Now, I grew up in a very conservative area of the country. Southern Illinois is a very red area in terms of the political scene in the United States. It is very Republican, very conservative. I grew up in a pretty conservative home. Not in the sense of a religious type of conservative. I wasn't evangelical or anything. I really don't even associate with any religion. But more in the sense of, more conservative values and more of a conservative style of living. And, I grew up, on the values of working hard for, your living. My parents, both college educated. My dad runs his own small business. My mom went back to school after I was born, got her education, and works full-time now. And, they're seeing the fruits of their labor come to life. They were able to give me and my older siblings a very good living, and now they're able to enjoy their time, alone with an empty nest. And now they're able to go places on the weekends they couldn't before because they had to take care of me and my brother and sister. Or, maybe they can, plan on going on a vacation and not have to worry about getting someone to watch over us, maybe just to check in on the house and make sure nothing's like flooding or nothing's damaged. But anyway, that's kind of how I grew up. And I grew up pretty much, full Republican. Very conservative, very, and very conservative ideologically, very conservative how I thought things through. But then after I graduated from high school and went to college, I went to a liberal arts school. And liberal arts schools are very, very liberal. And that was one of the first times I was really exposed to big-time liberal politics and big-time liberal issues. And going through that college experience, I was exposed to things that I wasn't really exposed to in my small town. The whole gay rights issue was a big deal back in those times, because you're talking about that 2009, 2010, 2011, whenever the ball was just starting to get rolling for, gay marriage and gay rights. And, I have never been exposed to that during the whole junior high and high school phase of my life. But I got exposed to that in college. And, I kind of shifted from being full-on Republican to being more of a conservative-leaning moderate, which is what I kind of consider myself today. Conservative-leaning moderate / libertarian, right-leaning libertarian. So that's kind of where I'm at right now, is libertarian / conservative-leaning moderate. And that's kind of what I do. I kind of try to look at things, and I look at both sides of the issue. I think of all the possibilities, and then I give my opinion and, give my thoughts about it. Now, anyone who has watched my channel for a while knows I like to talk about political issues. I like to talk about these sort of very controversial topics. If you watch Tuss Talk, the podcast I do with my buddy AJ, who's a little bit more conservative than me, but he's still very much moderate, you know that we talk about these issues. We talk about things like, the election. We talk about the controversies with Black Lives Matter or with the Women's March. We're probably going to talk about that in the next show. We're probably going to talk about all the executive orders that Trump has done, and we're probably going to talk about a lot of different things this week, because there's a lot that's gone on in the first week of Trump's presidency. And we like to talk about these issues, and we try to look at both sides of the issue, and we try to give, a down-the-middle of opinion, but we tend to lean conservative on a lot of stuff. We are both, pro-gun. We are both, very much in line with free speech. We like to have our, we have our conservative, our conservative views. But we do have some liberal views, and, you know, for me, it's like, you know, the whole legalization of pot, you know, I'm very much a liberal at that. You know, I believe you should legalize pot. Heck, tax it, get our fucking budget and going, you know, and that kind of helps feed into the fiscal conservative part of me. So, you know, it's kind of one of those deals where, you know, I do see both sides of the issue. Now, in today's political climate, being a moderate is terrifying. It's really just a terrifying thing to be, because you end up being too conservative for the liberals, but at the same time, you're too liberal for the conservatives. And this kind of gets brought into play whenever you make any sort of statement about a political topic. You know, say, you know, let's say I talked about the gun issue, and, you know, I'm, you know, for, you know, being able to get guns. You know, it's part of our constitutional rights to be able to bear arms. And, you know, maybe the slightest thing I might change is maybe a little bit stronger background checks, and maybe add in maybe some sort of psychological test to it before you get a gun. Or at least, you know, some of the higher end guns, some of the more controversial guns like assault rifles. That would be but you only change. But I still believe that you should be able to get a gun if you're an American citizen. Now, I get hate from conservatives on, you know, maybe I might get hate from conservatives, at least from the, you know, the slightly stricter, you know, background check, or although really most gun people that I talk to, you know, they pretty much agree that maybe the background check should be a little bit stronger. But I get hate from liberals whenever I talk about that, because that is very much a conservative look at the world. That is very much a conservative leaning opinion. And that is kind of the thing I deal with. But then I talk about gay rights, and I get the conservatives coming after my ass, you know, saying I'm a hippie, liberal, millennial, yada, 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 and I get shit for that. But what really bothers me is whenever I have a opinion that is down the middle, like maybe the abortion issue. You know, while I don't like abortion in the slightest, and I really think that it should be extremely limited, I also don't think it should be outright banned. You know, if there is a case of rape or incest, or, you know, if the mother is, you know, at a point where, you know, it's her life is at risk, or even this caveat I kind of flush back and forth on is, you know, if the mother and the father cannot fiscally support the kid, you know, maybe even then that could be something to look at. Although that one I flip back and forth on all the time. But at least with the rape, incest, and the well-being of the mother, those I can agree on should be rights to an abortion. And that's pretty much down the middle. And I get a lot of hate from the extreme left and the extreme right whenever I make any sort of comment like that. And, you know, it's the extreme left, like, oh, you should be able to get an abortion whenever you want. And then you got the extreme right, it's like pro-life, baby, it's life at the point of conception. Blah, 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 blah. And it kind of sucks being in this middle, because no matter what you say, you're going to get hate. And that's what's kind of kept me from going into these sort of political topics. It's some of these more social issues that we've seen over the past few years. Now, I've wanted to talk about Black Lives Matter recently because it's become more relevant. It's still relevant to this day, because of all the issues that we've had with, you know, seeing the riots that have been going on all across the country. Most recently, I think it was Seattle, had the big protest with the Black Lives Matter, where there were people who were destroying property, setting things on fire, breaking windows, things like that. And that's been stuff I wanted to talk about. And heck, even a few years ago, go back to 2014, whenever Gamergate was kind of starting to gain ground. That was something I wanted to talk about. But because of the whole political issues that were going on with that, you know, we had the whole, you know, at the beginning where people were just using it as a conversation about journalistic ethics, and then the trolls came in and just completely ruined that and made it, you know, about attacking women in gaming industry, which, you know, as a hashtag movement was going to happen. And I want to talk about hashtag movements in a later video, because I think that deserves its own topic on itself. Because when you look at Black Lives Matter, you look at Gamergate, very similar problems being hashtag movements. But I want to know what your guys' opinions are about being a moderate in today's world. Do you guys think that my views are somewhat warranted? You know, do you guys see the same issues whenever you try to give your moderate opinions? Do you get called out by both the left and the right whenever you make a down the middle call? Or do you get hate from one side or the other, depending on what the topic is that you're talking about? I would love to hear your guys' opinions in the comment section down below. And once again, guys, if you would please just go and leave a like, make sure to hit the subscribe button so that way you catch all my videos, and be part of the notification squad. Hit the bell and make sure to get all notifications whenever I upload at any point. It really helps out, guys, and I really appreciate you guys sticking around for this 10+ minute commentary. It means a lot. So guys, please leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. I would love to read all your guys' opinions. But I gotta get out of here. Thank you so much for watching and listening. My name is LILWOOLEY618, and I'm out of here. Peace!